All right, where were we? Memory card keeps filling up and I have to upload and delete. Well, I got something called the Rap Manifesto. And I gotta give a special strong out to the band Strung Out, Jason Cruz. Their album, Transmission Alpha Delta, was a lifeline and inspiration and 16 hours of trauma processing that was mostly laughter, some sad tears, but then happy tears because the laughter during the creation was the joy. And the best part of those 16 hours, it started at 2:14 a.m., is that 58 minutes into it, it was already written in the journal. And somehow the journal disappeared behind the water heater. I don't know. I don't ask questions anymore. You know? I did ask the rats for a pen though. And you know what? He gave me a fucking highlighter. I chuckled. And I said, "You buttholes." And I got to writing. I didn't know I was creating and highlighting simultaneously my present and also the faded ink from the past, which was barely legible. The highlighter brought it out, almost like a magic marker or a wand, whatever, doesn't matter. And the future. Just whatever I want to do, break the highlighter open, write whatever the hell I want. It's my life, right? I'm in control of the amygdala. Finally. And hopefully I get to tell that before the memory card gets full. So, as I was saying, to the empaths on the precipice, or who have actually experienced what I've experienced on a biological level, a neurochemical level, and then the shift. The shift. And all you can do is cry to God and thank Him. Thank it. You know you'll never have to go back. So, this is a call to those people, because if you're like me and you went through that, and I know you have, or you're going through something that I've just been through, you've come to the right place. I have no one. I live in my parents' basement, 43 years old, but I know the ideas that I have not only written down or in my computer are enough to sustain lifetimes, but I know I don't want to do it alone anymore. And so some people on the internet, they try to sell you an idea of a soul family. Some people believe it, and you know, I'm not even opposed to it. I think it might exist, not in the sick, fucked up way that a lot of these people do. Because what I noticed is there's the New Age movement, but this is true in any fucking thing. Let's take science as well. The scientific community. You have people that actually want to help people and the world. They're stuck in a fucking system that hates them. And, you know, they have to keep you stuck, kinda. Otherwise, if you grow and out, you know, surpass the guru, well, shit, their business is done. And then you have people that just kind of brought into it, maybe grew up in that type of sphere, have connections that they don't want to have, and they're just fucking stuck, and they don't know a way out. They don't know anything else. But then you got the slime molds, right? All lizard brain, prefrontal cortex only. It's the cortex skull, some other pathway. I forget what it's called. It's complicated. I got too much information in my head to figure it out. But they operate with the lizard brain, fear. And so once you, as the empath, have faced your darkest fear, and I'll explain that it might not be as bad as it sounds. And you see that the pattern has emerged. You see the fear for what it actually is, a slime mold. That's it. And then the amygdala, that's when it happens. That's when the cortisol that used to pump through it, fuck you up, fires out endorphins from behind the eyes. Feel it in the center of your fucking brain, coming out, down the spinal cord, all around your body, better than any heroin drug. And then you realize a whole bunch of shit, actually. But you realize this is permanent, that what you've been going through was building up to not a spiritual awakening, although it's part of it. This is a spiritual awakening that will not fade, because spiritual awakenings fade if they're not practiced and stripped of bias, because bias is the poison, right? The conditioning is the poison. It poisons it all. This is pure biological imperative, evolutionary design by the creator. For what? I don't know. For a new consciousness? Maybe. I don't know. I don't pretend to know shit. I just speak my truth, and my truth happens to be backed up in the science. Even the shit I speak, I run it back through, and holy shit. If I wasn't exactly right, it was pretty damn close. So, that's not all me moving. I mean, that is the pattern recognition of the empath. Taking it all in. Distilling everything. Because everything is data to the nervous system, right? So, it's not just the way people come off. No. It's all information. Last video I talked about people need a model. That's how learning fundamentally happens on a biological level. The mirror neurons, they learn by watching. The mirror neurons learn by doing. It's right there, but I don't see any models. I see fractions, bits and pieces of the model being behind paywalls and all that shit, and left for the common person to sort it all out. He's got the time, the patience, the money. Well, if you reject the system and try to parse through all that shit and get to who you really are, kind of just works itself out. But there are key things that have to happen. Key things have to happen. One, you have to have a nervous system that's been in fight or flight your whole life. And so these people that try to say, meditate, just free your mind, don't think about anything, think about the light. You're like, listen here, motherfucker. I don't think you understand. And they don't. Even though you can see that their nervous system has been fucking them up too. But you plead your case and say, hey, trauma, a nervous system firing like that its whole life, bracing for the worst possible outcome, stores in the fascia. I don't care how it's pronounced. It's like scar tissue internally in the dermis and epidermis. You can see it on people that have lived hard lives, not from drugs. Maybe that's part of it. I've done fucking more drugs than a lot of those people. I look pretty fucking good, better than I ever have. It's almost like as soon as I got rid of the poison and the conditioning, my body, the asymmetry, the wobble that I speak of, kind of sorts itself out. Not that there's things I definitely need to do. And, diet and exercise can only get you so far. Therapies, modalities, analog, all of it. In my experience, have been the way for me, although the technological amplification, and application. We're making new words here. Why not? The old ones suck. Anyway, any analog people out there, especially the old timers, who could tell when a capacitor would blow up 20 minutes before it did, and everybody would say he was full of shit when he said it. And then, it happened, and then they'd say, "Oh, how'd you do that?" And, he wouldn't say, "I told you so." But anybody that wanted to learn, he'd teach them his knowledge. So, schematics, philosophy, engineering, scientific research. Very easy when you create the workflow. And you just cross-reference and double-check. Super easy. But still, one person. I'm tired of doing all this shit alone, man. I got a bunch of shit to share. I got ideas. I got love. I got fucking boundaries. I got firm boundaries. And you should too. So, where was I? You're an empath who's been facing your fear, walking, meeting it head on, and deciding you're going to move differently. You're not going to get emotional. You're just going to set the boundary and let the shit fall by the wayside. But your heart's still open. It's still open because you're an empath. And you understand fundamentally what the Creator's hope for humanity is. Or maybe not. Maybe that's me projecting. However, I did have this thought. The Creator did create. The primary directive would be survival at all costs, right? And so everything happens, geological time, space-time, whatever. It's incredible. We cannot wrap our heads around it. But everything was stripped down to the atom. If it was born from the atom, it's been recycled, entropy in creation, right? That means consciousness of God was imbued in the fucking molecule. So it would make sense that as the molecules reassemble and evolve into a consciousness like ours, that it would be in there somewhere. And perhaps this is the hell that the Bible speaks of, not necessarily a hell of fire and brimstone, but one of the mind. I don't know. Was it an experiment? I don't know. I don't give a shit. Was it supposed to happen? I don't know. Either way, we're bringing it back home. And I know the ancestors, my ancestors on the other side, your ancestors, had brought the human element to spirit. I don't know if angels were ever human. I don't think so. Somebody can school me, I am not rigid. I am flexible. But I know for a fact the ancestors were. And they experienced some stuff, some things. Wouldn't recommend it. But the love that they also had, the beauty, it's in the culture. It's in our culture, that dirty fucking rap that I love, or the thrash metal, the melodic punk, whatever. Even the cheesy 80s ballads, the movies, Lord of the Rings, 2001: A Space Odyssey, everything. It's all there. And there is a pattern. And I'm going to keep that to myself for a while. But what this whole channel, I guess, was about, it wasn't never about finding a fucking soul family. Oh, well, that's where we need to go back to. The people on the internet that offer you a fucking soul family, that make you feel a certain way. You see, I never I never met anybody that I said, oh, I could learn something from that person. And I've been to some places, and not met people, but I forget their fucking names. That's how forgettable they are to me. But people that were big in, the new Dwayne Dyer, for example. I went to a conference with my mother. We watched a bunch of people talk. It was interesting, but not a one of them I ever said, they have something to teach me. It's like deep down my nervous system said, yeah, you already know that shit. And come to find out, I've been doing it subconsciously. The tapping method, that's one. Never heard about it. Realized I was doing it my own way my whole life. Rocking right to left with breath work. A way to anchor after an emotional state. 2 deep breaths followed by 2 sharp breaths and exhales. My sensei taught me that. The heart rate is up. Take it down, then wobble. It's a good way to anchor. Sit next to a fucking tree. But don't think that anybody has anything to teach you, because you are your greatest teacher. And so, I've been dealing with synchronicity and following it since the day before the Super Bowl. A couple weeks later, found my way to a space. It seemed like pretty legit from my dumbass didn't research. Had I did at the time, I might not have caught what I needed to know, but it's because it was supposed to happen. And so, cheers to Witchy Bitch number 1. Glass is clean. She offered me, what did she offer me? I saw her solely as a teacher. And she taught me a lot. More than I wanted to know. Everything I needed to know. But she never told me how to get to where it is I needed to go. She allowed me a framework to figure that out for myself. Even though her intentions were to cage, lock, and key me. Because people fear what they can't control. And that's how she always operated. But, nervous system never forgets. So I took it all in stride. She knew she couldn't get me with the ego because I'd pretty much dissolved most of that. And I don't think she realized, I don't know. She couldn't get me with the nay either, with the possibility of that, Been self-imposed no contact there for 6 years, although I am a male and I have a biology that demands that. Anyway, that's another story. So yeah, effectively abstinence, like 6-7 years. So I don't give a shit. That does not fuel me. What fueled me? Truth and peace. I saw a component of truth in her, and I saw light as well, but there was a darkness too, and I like that. Because that's me. Anyway, long story short, 3 weeks in, I saw everything for what it was. Instead of blowing up, although they tried to say I was angry, people I didn't give two shits about, tried to put their insecurities on me. Say, this is not anger, this is a mirror, because I saw everything. Saw how she was being controlled and manipulated by circumstance, maybe. And so I held it as long as I needed to. And then the Rap Manifesto was born during that time. I didn't need to hold up the mirror any longer. The work was done. There, anyway. Really, it was just beginning. But I know, because I've since looked at a lot of other creators and people and web pages and people talking about stuff, not even her, just in general, in the whole space, is the new age metaphysical space is so fucking corrupted. So as I was saying, and the empath is particularly vulnerable to that because they have longing, and people with ulterior motives know how to tap into that and use you up. And so this is a PSA, really, not just to the empaths, but to anyone who thinks that they need to go through someone and pay $3,333 for a 12-week course, or a monthly, subscription fee, or some sort of bullshit. You absolutely do not. You don't. Because after that, I was the metallurgist who designed, who built my own lock and key. And nobody but me now has access to that. And so it's rough, because through that process, and I still do, I care about her, want what's best for her. I don't give a shit if I'm there or not. I want what's best for her. And that's not what's best. You can just tell. So, what I'm doing, something hasn't been done. Community. Self-healing. And I know others have developed, they may not even know it. Here's the thing. They might not even know that they were developing a protocol to heal themselves. And I saw another, later on down the road, I'll have to get to that later, who did the exact same thing I was doing through painting. I was doing it through music. Listening to music. I used to play, I've been wanting to play for so fucking long. It hasn't been the right time, there's a time and a place. So, we're going to talk about the empath. We're also going to talk about other less evolved souls, not a hierarchy thing, they're just new souls. Things that I term the sympath, one that can only quote unquote empathize with their own feelings. Everything has to be felt through them, so that it's not real empathy. Then you have empaths, but that is a wide spectrum. And I firmly believe, and it totally makes sense, that a soul can only empathize with another up to the point of experience. If a soul, whether it's in one lifetime or many, who gives a shit? If there's a disconnect, one cannot empathize with the other, but the other can empathize. Yet everybody wants to suck off the one, not sexually. They want to suck off their empathy, but they can't give it in return. It's not that they don't want to, it's just they don't know how. And so, we perceive that as betrayals. I started looking at that as inevitability. Patina. For a moment in time, or the biological shift, the chosen one archetype is ready to come online. And here's the thing, too. People in the metaphysical space, they call it downloads. That's bullshit. I'll tell them straight up. I do believe that it's your higher self, because for a moment you allowed the nervous system to shut the fuck up. For a moment. You got some answers, some clarity. For a moment. But you still operate in fear. So it's not permanent. The biological shit, the thing that happens in the amygdala, that's permanent. You know when it happens, and there is you're not going back, because you've done enough fucking drugs, 3 lifetimes, and this was better than any of that, and you didn't see God or anything like that. You thanked God, you cried, and you knew what you had was something special, something rare, that no one else, at least in your vicinity, who are your friends and enemies alike, all the same shit really, they don't know how to move like that. And they will never know how to move like that. That's why I'm such an anomaly in that sphere. You know, other anomalies exist, and you could be an anomaly too if you do the dark, gritty soul work and confront your darkness, and also the darkness that comes in the form of betrayal. You know, we had a lifetime of betrayal, and deep down somewhere you have to confront those things, and they're dark. Some of them you have to go all the way back to childhood, and some of them aren't as bad as you thought. Some of them could actually be other people putting ideas in your head that were never true, you know, but you're stuck in the thought loop, so you can't use discernment. You know, if everything's not functioning in alignment together as one, you can't discern for shit. But then, you know, you give your you put hope and faith in another person, and actually trust that they have the best interest, even if it's for a moment. And then you start seeing things and clocking things. You don't make any judgments, because the mind, a tempered, disciplined mind, will not act unless it has all the facts. The emotions of the heart can override that. The fear of the lizard guts can override that. But once you see the betrayal for what it actually was, slime mold, not the people, the institutions, the system, all of it. I have seen the pattern. I'm still here. Wait, the amygdala that was operating in fear for 40 years, give or take, suddenly says, hold the fuck up, what? Endorphins. A sick, twisted smile. Not out of revenge, but out of, fuck, something just unlocked in me. And if I was a bad person, not that bad or good exists, right? But if I was evil, or just, no, that's not the right word. Self-aggrandizing, materially possessed. When I look at other people's, I'd be looking at them like numbers on a spreadsheet. How much money can they give me? If I was that type of person, I would never be able to wield this type of power. And you know what I believe? That's why God puts us through these challenges, to find out who's actually able and to hold that kind of power and use it for good. And here's the first good thing I'm gonna do with it. Heal my fucking self. And all my creations and shit, that's all for me.